So as it turns out, because of the number of trades that we had, we ended up making about $175 in the position. I'm sorry, I said 275. I meant to say 175. So we made 175. You know, the straddle, we sold it at 13. It's now trading at 11 and a quarter. We make 175. Not exactly a home run, but considering the big run we had in the stock, we made $175 a contract, or $17.50 on that trade. We also made $506 on the stock. Again, not a home run, but it's a good thing that we decided to be defensive and buy stock as the market kept going up, so that we had, so that in combination, the position ends up making just over $5,000 on the stock. I'm sorry, $506 on the stock, $17.50 on the option. We end up having a pretty decent run on our position. So it helps add to the position that we had, based on the fact that we were able to take action and do things as the market was getting away from us. Very few traders know what to do when the market gets away from them. These are the kind of things that we specialize in. What are the things that we can do as the market refuses to cooperate? You know, what we do in our seminars is we focus specifically on the what-ifs, on the stuff that people tend to shy away from. If the market gets away from you, on the one hand, it is too bad. Rather than helping you predict where the market's going next, which is difficult, we go ahead and actually show you techniques like reverse gamma scalping to show you what to do in case the market gets away from you. It's actually easier to learn what to do when the market gets away from you than it is to learn to predict the market. Okay? And I know this because I've had a lot of experience with a lot of people teaching techniques on how to predict the market. Most of those techniques are really easy. They just don't work. And that's why nobody's been able to put that into some sort of a black box. There are very few computer programs that have a black box with 4 lines of code. So, all these simple things that people do to help predict the market, they don't really work. So rather than rack our brain trying to make them work, let's go ahead and actually learn how to be defensive and how to protect ourselves as the market goes against us. That's what gamma scalping is all about. So there are some tricks that we've learned over the years to help you stay safer. One of the things is, and we wrote an article on this in Futures Magazine as well. We wrote a couple of articles on gamma scalping and reverse gamma scalping. But some of the things, we have a book, Option Greeks for Profit. Some of the things that we actually teach people is, if you are in a position where you cannot buy or sell stock aggressively, then you can use options to hedge. In other words, as the stock goes up, you buy call options. As the stock goes down, you buy put options. Or as the stock goes down, you sell calls. As the stock goes up, you buy puts. There are ways to use options. And through our seminars, we actually show people what kind of options you would use. It would be great if we could explain it in 30 seconds, but it gets a little bit involved because of the nature of options. So because of that, we wanted to make sure that we started with the simplest way to address the deltas in a position, which is through the purchase and sale of stock. But we wanted to let you know that another possibility is to actually go ahead and use options in order to hedge your deltas. Because options have other Greeks like gamma, theta, and vega, it's a little bit more involved to get into that whole situation, and it requires a whole other discussion, but it's there, but it's available for your use if you feel comfortable or if you learn enough about it. Number 2, do you want to keep short deltas in a bullish market if you have a short gamma position? This one's up to you. The consensus has been, and as best I recall it, and as best I, because we don't check the consensus every day. Well, yeah, it's like holding surveys out there all day. We tend to prefer to keep short deltas, slight short deltas, even in a bullish market. because the amount of money you're going to lose based on delta is largely offset through a volatility crush. In fact, in our position, the stock went up $10. Had the stock gone down $10, the profits would not have been as great, and hence being able to lean that extra 100 share, being able to lean short 100 shares would have been great, would have been a smart thing to do had the market gone down $10 instead of up in the IBM example. Because it went up, you notice that even though we started short deltas, we still ended up making money on the option portion of the position because of the combined effect of time decay and the volatility crush. Okay? So, again, how many short deltas is the right amount to carry in your position? I caution people with these types of questions because what you're looking for is certainty. And certainty does not exist in trading. All right? We're going to cover this in the manual, but we're going to go ahead and give you some idea, some general rules of thumb as to how many deltas are considered, quote-unquote, the right amount. And there's a scientific way of doing this. It's an unbelievable amount of work. And when the markets are zipping around, no one is holding out calculators. Okay, no one is doing the tricky math when the markets are whipping around. You have to make quick decisions. So here's what we're going to do. Step one, find the range in the stock and the range in the volatility over a couple of months. Okay? And if you want, you can also find what their range is for in the stock and in volatility for a year, just to have a second number which can be averaged with the first. Whether you do the second step or not, it's up to you if you want a little bit better indication. But find out how much the stock fluctuates and find out how much the volatility fluctuates. And your broker should have these numbers for you. Then here's what you're going to do. You're going to divide the range of the volatility by the dollar range in the stock. So here's the way it's going to work. Suppose that you have the following information. Over 2 months, the stock has had a $20 range. In other words, it's been ranging between $70 and $90 a share. So it's had a $20 range. The volatility has ranged between 60% and 70%. So from a gross percentage point level, we have a 10% range in volatility. So the way the math is going to work is take the 10% range, divide by the $20 range in the stock, and get your ratio. And what that's going to give you is a ratio of 0.5. Okay? 10% in the volatility, just take the actual 10, divide by 20, and you get 0.5. What does that 0.5 mean? Okay, what did we just do all this work for? This means that this gives you an indication that for every dollar move in the stock, you can expect volatility on average, and very generally speaking, to increase or decrease by half a percentage point. Okay? That's what it means. If volatility is 70, what it basically tells you is that if the stock goes to 71, I'm sorry, if the volatility is at 70 and the stock is at, say, let's just call it 70 as well, okay, just to keep the number simple. What we're basically saying is if the stock goes up to 71, you can expect the volatility to drop to 69.5. Okay? So based on that, now you have an idea of how the volatility moves based on how the stock moves. Okay? Just a good average guess. And that's all we're really looking for right now. We're trying to do this quickly.